Hello everyone, welcome to the first stress-free coding tutorial. This tutorial is dedicated to Angular. Each video will have a first part of theory and a second part of practice, with the aim of creating a project with Angular step by step. Why this tutorial? Well, Angular in 2022 is one of the 10 most used frameworks for web development. Angular is not a framework that has been in fashion for a few years among developers and then ends up in oblivion. Angular was first released in 2016. Behind Angular, there is a giant like Google that collaborates with the developer community. Angular is used in many applications that you probably use every day. Think of Gmail or Google Maps, for example. So we are not talking about a breeze. So if you are a novice web developer, or if you are an experienced web developer, then knowing Angular will allow you to have a new job opportunities. Although Angular is not a very easy framework to learn, or at least this was my impression when I first started using the AngularJS version, and the same when I migrated to the new version Angular 2+. But with this stress-free tutorial, I want to make your life easier. Angular is not a programming language. Angular is not a set of ready-to-use libraries. Angular is much more. Is a web framework. A web framework is a software platform for developing modern websites and single-page applications. You may be wondering, what is a single-page application? A single-page application, or you prefer to use acronyms, simply SPA, is basically a web application or a site that is presented to an end user in a single web page. What is the advantage of a single page application? A single page, the contents requested by the user will be loaded every time he clicks a link or a button. The page makes calls to the server saying, "Okay, give me this new data." But this process takes place in the background, with calls to a server that expose method call API without the end user noticing anything, except when, poof, the information he had asked for appears. This mechanism avoids having to reload the entire page or switch to another page, reducing data loading times, and thus offering the user a better browsing experience. You will say, wow, but it is very cool. Instead, if you already have some web programming, you will know as myself that it is not a completely new technology. What will you need? I will be using release 14 of Angular IO, which is the latest available as of the time of recording this video. You just need to have some experience in programming with HTML, CSS, TypeScript, or alternatively JavaScript. If you don't know TypeScript but choose JavaScript, you won't have a hard time learning it. In fact, it thinks of TypeScript as a JavaScript extension, but more similar to an object-oriented programming language. To have a development environment on your PC, you will need to install Node.js, which will allow you to execute server-side JavaScript code, the package manager, NPM, Angular command line interface, and a text editor. I suggest Microsoft Visual Studio Code, simply because it is what I will use in the tutorial, and I think it is a good free solution. If you don't want to install any of these, skip the rest of the video and connect to StockBlitz.com. Start coding with Angular right away. With StockBlitz.com, you can develop it with Node.js, React, and more web framework. You can use a GitHub account to save your work on a repository. Now go to nodejs.org and download the latest available LTS version of Node.js. The setup files include the Node Package Manager. I run downloaded setup. Finished the setup, you can check the version from the Windows terminal by typing node-v to know the version of Node.js. And npm-v to know the package manager version. Now install Angular's command line interface. From terminal, typing the command npm install -g @angular/CLI. From the terminal, use the ng tool to execute interface command line with the ng help. With the ng help, you can find out what options are available. Type ng version to find the current version of Angular CLI. And finally, install Visual Studio Code, available for Win, Mac, and Linux. I run the downloaded setup. And here is what the editors looks like. It's very simple to use, but stay relaxed. During this tutorial, you will see how to use it. Find all the links in the description. That's all. I invite you to like and subscribe to the channel for stress-free coding.